Marketers do not operate in a vacuum, and so they've got to look at the environment in which they are operating, the marketing environment. And let's look at the big picture, all of the things. Kmart has done a lot of things well, but unfortunately for Kmart, Walmart dominates the retail landscape and does a better job than Kmart. Because of that competition, Kmart has fared poorly. iPhone has done a lot of things very, very well. Clearly, the technology involved is hugely important there. Speaking of technology, the Ford Mustang, great car. Don't, when we think of technology, just think of the electronics in there, although, of course, the electronics in cars have changed everything. But the plastics, the technology in plastic development has changed a lot of the components of vehicles. Of course, there's lots of aspects of the general environment that impact the auto industry. The government, for example, the government sets strict safety standards, which manufacturers have to abide by, auto emission standards, mileage standards for the cars. Socioculturally, the Mustang was a huge hit when it was first introduced because it was one of the first really fun, sporty, affordable for the masses cars. The economic environment is very, very important to the auto industry. 2009 was a horrible year for the whole industry because of the Great Recession. Car sales absolutely plummeted. Speaking of technology, here's a piece of equipment that you'll never see, the slide rule. Well, the slide rule was a technology that was gone because of better technology that came along. Speaking of things that are dinosaurs, you rarely see a physical folded map anymore, a paper map, because GPS technology has eclipsed that. A lot of times people refer to these kind of industries as buggy whip industries, and that term comes from buggy whips, which of course is another example of technology that has been superseded by superior technology, obviously the car. Whole Foods is doing very, very well in the retail grocery segment, and that, of course, is a sociocultural phenomenon where more and more people want fresher and fresher ingredients, eschewing processed foods in favor of more wholesome, natural foods. So when I talk about the general environment, it's all of these things that are going on. But we'll start with the company and move out from there. There's the micro environment, and those are suppliers, customers, distributors, and competitors. And then there's the macro environment, which is all of the things that are outside the direct industry. And the key ones to be concerned with are technological environment, the sociocultural environment, the economic environment, the political and legal environment, and the ecological and physical environment. And let's very, very briefly look at each of those, and then later on go into much greater detail, starting with technological factors. Got to start by asking the question, what is technology? Many people's knee-jerk response is technology is electronics. Well, that's where a lot of the cutting-edge things are happening, but let's go with a broader definition of technology. Technology is the application of tools and or knowledge to solve problems. Technology is the application of tools and or knowledge to solve problems. And a very, very important concept as it relates to marketers is the concept of disruptive technologies. Now, disruptive technologies disrupt or change the existing ways of doing things. They completely alter what happens in markets. I mentioned the slide rule a minute ago. They're not around anymore. They were completely made obsolete with the introduction of the calculator. The slide rule was used to make manual approximate calculations. No need to bother with all that nonsense when you can just punch in the numbers and get the exact calculation. That calculator right there was introduced in April 1972. If you look closely, you can see the TI, Texas Instruments logo, and the name Datamath. That was the first mass market calculator product, the TI 2500 Datamath for doing mathematical calculations, introduced in April of 1972. When it was introduced, that basic four-function calculator cost $150. Now you can get a calculator that does that stuff for 99 cents in the dollar store. Although, of course, that's 99 cents in today's dollars. You bought this back in 1972, and that was $150. If you were to use today's dollars for that, that would cost you $885 in 2017 dollars. So yeah, technology impacts lots and lots of industries. Let's move on. Sociocultural factors. Well, lots of things that are happening in society and culture impact marketers. Increase in divorce rate, has obviously impacted certain markets. Of course, same-sex marriage, has impacted markets. The trend towards exercise and fitness obviously is important in lots of markets, and its twin, healthy eating. With regard to the workplace, one thing that has become much, much, much bigger is so-called business casual. Well, that has impacted, the apparel industries. With regard to parenting, so-called helicopter parents, are changing lots of things. Well, just the households themselves, which is the basic unit of consumption, the number of households has increased greatly, whereas the average size of households, the average number of people per household, has declined greatly from more than 6 back in 1850 down to about 2.6 nowadays. So sociocultural definitely impacts things. I'm moving into a subset of sociocultural, which is demographics. But demographics, the study of people, is so important. We need to look at it all on its own. People are the basis for any market. So demographic characteristics relate to buyer behavior. Demographic cohorts are unique. They have their own needs, values, and consumption patterns. And so we will look at various generations, and we can give names to generations: the pre-generation, the depression generation, the baby boomers. Those are all very much part of the very mature market. And then the younger generations, Generation X, Generation Y, and Generation Z. Ethnicity, of course, is a component of demographics, and the United States is becoming much more of a melting pot. In fact, I looked at a slide that I had from 2012 and had to update those numbers because they've all changed. White as a population, percent of the total population, continues to decrease, whereas the minority segments, Hispanic, African American, Asian, all are rapidly increasing. Economic factors, those are very, very important, and these deal with things like consumers' income, purchasing power, inflation, and recession. The government is a huge impact, and so we have to look at the political and legal factors. There are some major federal laws that we have to know, and we'll look at a few of these. The Federal Trade Commission Act is a very, very important one. The Robinson-Patman Act, one of the most important laws that impacts marketers, because it's the Robinson-Patman Act that says that marketers have to charge the same price to competing customers. And so you have to make sure that you're not running afoul of that law by offering, for example, Walmart one price and Kmart a different price for the same items. Of course, in addition to the federal government, state laws oftentimes come into play. We've got regulatory agencies that marketers have to pay attention to. The big regulatory agencies for marketers are the Consumer Product Safety Commission, the Food and Drug Administration, and the Federal Trade Commission. All of those have impacts on what marketers can do and can't do. The so-called 4 Ps of marketing are often impacted by these environmental factors. The 4 Ps of marketing, again, are price, which of course, is what you charge for your product. Place, how you get your product into the hands of the customer. Product, which of course is the product, and what you say about it, promotion. And all of those are impacted by components of the overall marketing environment. We'll get into much greater detail for each of those in the individual modules.